How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright. We're going to get right into the next day of court. In courtroom number 3. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Karma's just like, I am not saying nothing. I ain't saying no double negatives. Very well. Apparently the prosecution is also ready. Who's the judge here, anyway? Mr. Von Karma, your opening statement. Well articulated, Von Karma. Goodness. Not so fast, Judge. I was taking a meaningful pause before speaking. Right, of course. A prediction. Today's trial will end in 3 minutes from now. Not if I just don't hit X for 3 minutes. Order. Mr. Von Karma, what is the meaning of your statement just now? Objection. Must you question everything? It'll be over in 3 minutes. We have no time to waste. I'll call my witness now. Right, I call my witness, my decisive witness, to the stand. It's that mysterious boat shop owner. Yeah, sleeping, bubblegum nose. Witness, state your profession. Gross. I am the proprietor of the restaurant, The Wet Noodle at Gourd Lake. And I, also rent boats. The night of the incident, you were in the boat rental shop, correct? Yup. Yup, I was. Please testify. Wait a second. We still haven't heard who this old guy is. Wait a minute. Witness hasn't stated his name yet. Because I did not ask him, Mr. Wright. Bah. I predicted this trial will end in 3 minutes. Stop asking trivial questions and cooperate. Yeah, right. The witness will state his name. Haha, we did it. Well, not really sure, yep. What do you mean? My memory. Your Honor, the witness does not remember anything beyond the last several years. Ergo, he cannot recall his own name. He can't recall, you say? Yes, but the incident in question took place 3 days ago. He can testify. Very well. Let's hear his testimony then, shall we, witness? Let's witness his testimony. It's the night of the 24th, just after midnight, yup. I was in the restaurant where I, rent boats, as usual. Thought you were a spaghetti salesman. Then I heard a bang! Yup. When I looked out the window, I saw a boat just a-floating on the lake. Then I heard another bang. Just about then, the boat comes back to shore, and a man walks by my window. It was Edgeworth. Very well. I'd like to begin the cross-examination. There's nothing to question in my witness's testimony. Ergo, no need for cross-examination. Besides, there are only 10 seconds left before our 3 minutes is up. Judge, your verdict now. Yes, Mr. Wright. Obviously cross-examine. What are you saying? Of course I'll cross-examine the witness. Very well, you may begin. Look at Karma freaking out. Excuse me, Mr. Von Karma. 3 minutes just passed. I see, well then, let's just take our time. You may cross-examine the witness. Or the 24th. Press. Just after midnight, you say. Wasn't it just before midnight? Yup, just around then. Are you sure? Pretty sure, yup. When I talked to you yesterday, you were rather vague about the time. Surprised you seem so sure about it today. I asked him and he remembered. Isn't that right? Gross. Don't glare at me like that. I remembered it clearly, I did. Yup. You see? Continue. Just gonna go back. Don't I have evidence that's like... Well, I guess it was just after midnight. Okay, never mind. Like, are we really gonna... It was the night of the 24th, just after midnight. Like, is that gonna be considered? Well... Yeah, well, yeah, there's this one. Let's probe him a bit more first. Is there anyone who can verify that? Well, I guess Polly could. That's not good enough for a court of law. Mr. Wright, what exactly is not good enough? Your Honor, this Polly's a parrot. A parrot? That's a parrot to me. Don't be so hard on the girl, Keithy boy. Keith. The prosecution concedes that we cannot prove the witness was in the shop. Witness, please continue. And I heard a bang. Oh. Where'd the bang seem to come from? Gross. From the lake, I figure. Are you certain? Yup. Good. Continue. I looked out the window, I saw a boat just floating on the lake. Was there someone in the boat? Pretty far out there. I couldn't see clearly. But I figured there were two men out there, yup. But you couldn't see them clearly. Yup. At the time, that is. At the time. Then I heard another bang. So you heard 2 gunshots total? Yup. That's what Lotta said in her testimony. It's about then the boat comes back to shore and a man walks by my window. By your window? By my window. Right outside the window of my little shack. And you could see the man's face? Well, the fog was pretty thick, but he was right there in front of me. I saw him. This is a rather important detail. Please add it to your testimony. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I have a bad feeling about this. That man was the defendant. He was saying, I can't believe he's dead. Are you sure? Uh-oh. Dad. Dead certain, Keith. He said, I can't believe he's dead as he was walking by, too. Should Polly know this? Witness, are you sure the person you saw was Miles Edgeworth? It was him, that Edgeworth boy. Falls over. Even the judge is like, what's this madness? Sounds like decisive evidence indeed. I see no room for doubt. Von Karma. He lured me into cross-examining so he could set me up for a fall. I don't like the way things are going here. Everyone in the courtroom is glaring at us. Better act quick or this trial's going to be over. Better raise an objection. Your Honor, we proved in yesterday's trial that it could not have been Edgeworth who fired that gun. Mr. Wright, are you referring to the fingerprints from Edgeworth's right hand found on the gun? In the photograph showing a man firing with his left hand? Exactly. That's easily explainable. He could have wiped his prints after he fired. Why wouldn't he wipe them again, then? You're ignoring the truth of the matter here. Everything in this witness's testimony is true. Judge is lost in thought. What should I do? Be objectionable. Your Honor, witness claims that Edgeworth says I can't believe he's dead, but his word is all we have. If he were telling a lie. Mr. Wright, in a court of law, the evidence tells all. Apparently you have yet to realize even this basic fact. If you say his testimony is a lie, show us proof. Do we have evidence? It's no good. There's nothing I can do. Are you sure? To be honest, I don't know what to do anymore. Please, can you hear me, sis? Please? We need your help. Nick needs you. Tisk, tisk, tisk. 3 minutes was perhaps too high of an expectation. However, 15 isn't bad. This must be a new record. Enough. The witness may leave the stand. He's not going anywhere. The court sees no reason to further prolong the trial, nor is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant. The case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts. What? No. This court finds the defendant, Miles Edgeworth. Oh yeah. The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at a higher court within a month from today's date. That is all. This court is adjourned. What, did I actually game over? Like, what's happening here? Wait. Who was that just now? What? Larry? What are you doing here? Listen, you gotta listen to me. I was there in the park the night of the murder. Wasn't sure about it until just yesterday. But today I remembered it. Remembered what? The gunshot. I heard it too. Order. What's the meaning of this? The verdict has been decided. I call for adjournment. One moment, Mr. Von Karma. So you say you heard a gunshot? Yeah, I did. A gunshot. That night. I was sitting here in the audience listening to that testimony. Then I realized something he said was different from what I remembered. Anyhow, I can't just sit here and let you call Edgy a murderer. It's just not right. I'll testify. Let me testify. Alright, Larry, you can testify. Well, this is the first time something has happened like this in my court. I'm not quite sure how to proceed. Judge, you've already given your decision. The trial is over. Nick, this is it. Larry gives us the one final chance at his... I definitely didn't read that right. If only it wasn't Larry. He could make things even worse. Edgeworth was just declared guilty, Nick. It doesn't get any worse. You're right. Okay. No, you're right. Your Honor, there's another witness. It's my duty to hear him speak. Right here, right now. A waste of time. The verdict cannot be overturned. Allow me to speak my opinion. No. In all court proceedings, it is our duty to prevent an inaccurate verdict. In order to make sure no mistake has been made, every witness should be heard. What is this? I withdraw my previous verdict of guilty. Mr. Von Karma, I order you to call this new witness to testify. Now. Court will adjourn for a 5-minute recess. Recess, recess. After that, we will hear this new witness. Court is adjourned. For 5 minutes. So much for Von Karma's 15-minute prediction. That was too close. Sorry to keep you on the edge of your seat like that, Edgeworth. I've seen worse. Yeah, right, Edgeworth. You're sweating bullets. Just wonder what Larry plans to say in there. Larry's at the lake that night? Yes. He went looking for the steel samurai balloon that flew into the lake. Oh, right. And he found the balloon in the air tank that night? Yeah. Hey, Edgeworth. Huh? You say something right? Yeah, a lot of things. You seem out of it. What's wrong? Well, he's just being falsely accused of murder. That's nothing. Nothing major. Something I've been meaning to ask you, Edgeworth. What's that? Why are your fingerprints on the murderer weapon? Oh. When he fell into the lake, I went into a daze. I couldn't understand what had happened. I couldn't think straight. Then I saw the pistol lying on the floor of the boat in front of me. I picked it up without thinking. I didn't have a reason, really. I see. Right, yeah? This might be our chance. Our chance? Von Karma's only ever run perfect trials. Perfect trials? Perfectly prepared witnesses, perfectly complete evidence. That's the secret to his success. This is the first time he's ever had to deal with something unexpected. He has to let someone he hasn't even talked to testify before the court. And that someone is Larry. What are you getting at? It's likely his testimony will be full of holes, right? A That's right, Nick. No 10-minute trial this time. We'll milk this one for all it's worth. Hey, it was 15 minutes. Everything's on Larry now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Right, Larry. We can do this. Court is now back in session. Witness, please testify to the court about everything that you saw. On the night of December 24th. Great, leave it to me. Please, Larry, don't mess this one up. I hate to admit it, but you're our last chance. Von Karma didn't even have time to prep his witness. I just hope Edgeworth is right about this being her big break. I'm sure Larry will screw something up. That night I was out in a boat on the lake. I was looking for something and I found it. So I quietly slipped the boat back at the rental shop dock. Then just as I was going about home, I heard this bang. I looked out over the lake, but I didn't even see a boat. So after I heard that single gunshot, I went home. That's an unusually vague testimony, even for this court. In any case, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. What's wrong, Nick? It's Larry. I have no idea what he's going to say if I press him. I'm a little scared. We've come this far. There's no way to go but forward, Nick. Hey, Larry. Hold it. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? There's so many things wrong, I don't even know where to begin. Well, first of all, what time was it? I was after 11 when I went out on the boat. By that time, everyone had gone home for the night. So I waited until the coast was clear, so to speak. And why were you out on a boat at such a late hour? Looking for my steel samurai. Yeah. What was it you were looking for, Mr. Butts? What the witness was searching for is irrelevant. Most likely he was hunting for this Gordy. That's surprisingly close to the truth, in a sense. This is all irrelevant, let's get it over with. Around what time was that? Let's see. Figure I was out searching for about an hour. Guess it was around 12. Yeah. You're not sure? Don't give me that face. I'm not some sort of human sundial, okay? People use watches these days, Larry. Or the thinker clocks. Where'd the sound come from? Yeah, well, I wasn't too sure about that. I looked around, you know. Did you look at the lake? Yeah, I looked. Looked out over the lake, but didn't see a boat. Wasn't there a boat on the lake? Well, Mr. Butts. Whoa, everyone just calm down, okay? I mean, it was real foggy that night. I'm not sure whether there was a boat out there or not. Okay, no problem. That's just the most important part of this case. After I heard that single gunshot, I went home. Well, there was 2 gunshots. So you only heard 1 bang, correct? Yeah. Huh. Is it just the whole 1 bang issue? So I'd say it was either her deposition or, like, the pistol fired 3 times. I mean, that worked. Wait a sec, Larry. What? You only heard 1 bang, you're sure? That's what I said. Miss Lotta Hart testified yesterday she heard 2 bangs. Mick Foley must have been around. And that old man just now said the same thing. They both heard 2 gunshots that night. Huh? Were you even listening? Were you paying attention at all to what they said? Yo, Nick, please. Huh? You know, something's been bothering me. I'm a witness, see? I'm like a customer here. So you gotta treat me nice and stuff, okay? Mr. Butts. What? You only heard one gunshot? Are you sure? Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure. Not sure? How could you not be sure? Yeah, well, I, might have missed the other gunshot. I was, listening to something else. Something else? My radio, dude, with my headphones. So loud it muted one of the bangs. Mr. Butts, you were listening to the radio with your headphones? Yeah, so what? That a crime? I listen to my radio. Everyone listens to the radio. What's the big deal? Von Karma, your opinion? Waste of time. I do not accept this witness nor his shoddy testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, should he continue the testimony? Yes. Your Honor, please allow the witness to continue his testimony. Nothing is more pitiful than a lawyer who doesn't know when he's lost. Very well, Mr. Butts. Please give your testimony and be sure to include details like your radio. Right, leave it to me. I wouldn't if there were any other ways out of this, believe me. We can do this, Larry. It's lonely being alone on Christmas Eve. That's why I was listening to an all-request show on the radio, see? I was listening to it real booming loud, like, but I'm sure I heard that gunshot. I remember exactly what the DJ was saying when I heard it, too. What would that be? You were listening to your radio at a high volume? Yeah, what's the big problem? Can't a man listen to his radio in peace? Isn't this a free country? I truly believe Larry has no idea what the problem here is. Judge, can you believe a word this witness says? What he heard was probably nothing more than a drum beat from the radio. True enough, it is difficult to believe this testimony. Wait, Your Honor. The witness said he remembers exactly what the DJ said when he heard the gunshot. Excuse me, DJ? An announcer. The guy who says things on the radio. Anyway, what this means is where he heard the sound, no music was playing. The DJ only talks between songs, so he could have heard the gunshot from the lake. I'd like to cross-examine the witness, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Wright. Can't believe I'm continuing this charade. I can, Phoenix. I can. Hold it, Larry. So you turned on the radio? Great. I just wanted to hear someone's voice, you know? You don't know what it's like to be out there alone on Christmas Eve. Alone. Shouldn't have said anything. Do you by any chance remember the name of the program you were listening to? It has nothing to do with the case, Your Honor. Objection sustained. The witness was listening to the radio. This is what we need to know. Tell us, Mr. Butts, how loud was your radio set to that night? Real booming loud. So shouldn't other people hear it? Excuse me. Real booming loud? Yeah. Excuse me. And you had headphones on? Yep. I wouldn't think you could hear anything going on outside at all. But I'm sure I heard that gunshot. How sure are you? No, I can't prove it, but I remember that moment real clear. I mean, while I was talking about it, it came back real clear to me, you know? What was the DJ saying when you heard it too? What did she say? How'd we establish it was a she? It was a lady. Please cease the pointless questions. What possible good could knowing what a radio DJ said do us? Indeed, Von Karma has a point. I'll allow the question only if you see some reason why we should care. We should care. Of course we should. Why? Well, how do you know if we don't ask? Fine, very well. Mr. Butts, please testify to the court. What was the radio announcer saying when you heard the gunshot? This when she said, "Hey, it's almost Christmas. I heard the gunshot." Are you sure? Of course I am. She has this real sexy voice. Maybe Von Karma was right. I'm not sure that helped us at all. This is the most ludicrous testimony I've ever heard. There's one gleaming ray of hope in there. Gotta press it until we get to the bottom of what happened. So probably this again. Am I supposed to show this? You know, the one that was after Christmas? Are you absolutely sure what you're saying is correct, Larry? What's with the face? You look scary, dude. If you're trying to scare me, you better know I don't scare that easily. Something the matter, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, did you hear what the witness just said? The DJ said, "Hey, it's almost Christmas," when he heard the gunshot. And? Almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. Do you realize what this means? When he heard the gunshot, it was still Christmas Eve. That would seem to be the case, yes. But he should have heard the gunshot after midnight. This photograph... Yes, photograph is irrefutable proof of this fact. See what time was on the photo when the gun triggered Miss Hart's camera. 15 minutes after midnight on Christmas Day. There's a clear contradiction, Your Honor. What does this mean? The two prior witnesses heard gunshots after midnight. However, this witness says he heard a gunshot before midnight. Judge, the answer is simple. The current witness is plainly mistaken. Just look at him. Suspicious. What? Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think about Mr. Butts' claim he heard the gunshot before midnight? I'm sure he did. He heard that gunshot before midnight. Intriguing. I'm assuming you have evidence for this wild claim. Show me evidence there's a gunshot before midnight. I mean, I can... Well, I mean, there's this. Maybe they're not actually looking for the gun, but... Look at this photograph. This was taken by our witness yesterday, Miss Lotta Hart, with her automatic camera. Oh my god, I'm having another case of stuff is stuck in my throat, but I can't get it free. My apologies. Ah. Lovely noises. Oh? But there's nothing on the lake in this picture. Your Honor, the real issue here is not why nothing is shown in this photograph. It's why this photograph exists at all. What do you mean? Your Honor, this photograph was taken by an automatic camera. That camera was set to go off in response to loud noises. Aha. Correct, there's a loud noise on the lake at 11:50 p.m. This is why this photograph was taken. In other words, when Larry heard that gunshot, it's most definitely still Christmas Eve. It would seem that is the case. And where does that leave us? Miss Hart testified that she heard the gunshots after midnight. Are you claiming she was mistaken? Not at all, Your Honor. The fact the camera also triggered at 15 minutes after midnight. Your Honor, that night there were 2 sets of gunshots, with a 25-minute pause between them. Gracious. Why would this be? Don't be fooled, Judge. Camera was set to respond to loud noises. Not necessarily gunshots. Why, the witness could have sneezed, triggering the camera. My nose was clear that night, man. Clear. Well, Mr. Wright, there's no turning back now. Can you prove that the loud noise at 11:50 was indeed a gunshot? Please show the court evidence if you have any. I don't know that this was fired 3 times. This is my evidence. The murder weapon? Something about the pistol was bothering me, Your Honor. Both the witnesses who testified yesterday heard 2 gunshots. However, the murder weapon was fired 3 times. When then was the last shot fired? Only now I have realized the truth. That 3rd shot was the shot Larry heard just before midnight. What about the other two, then? That makes sense of the evidence we've seen so far. However, it leaves me wondering exactly what did happen that night on the lake. Exactly. This is true. There were 2 sets of gunshots, separated by 25 minutes. One at 11:50, another at 15 minutes after midnight. Why, I ask you? Why? Wait a second. Gunshots separated by 25 minutes? What's wrong, Nick? I have it. Huh? Remember the case with the Steel Samurai? Yeah, of course I remember. The murderer in this case had the same idea as the murderer in that case. What do you mean? Maya. If we don't figure this out now, we'll never overturn Edgeworth's guilty verdict. I've got a hunch, and I'm going to run with it. Right. I mean, is this safe? Safe? We've already gotten a guilty verdict. We have nothing to lose. Just watch and let me know if I say anything that sounds fishy, okay? Right, Nick. Your Honor. Testimony just now had cleared up this entire case. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? Tisk, tisk, tisk. So you finally realize the truth? There could be no murderer here than Miles Edgeworth himself? Wrong, Von Karma. A man was shot that night, but it wasn't Edgeworth who did the shooting. Listen, rookie. Take a deep breath and consider the facts. At the time of the murder, one boat was on the lake. This was shown by the witness's photograph. The defendant Edgeworth and the victim Robert Hammond were on that boat. There was a gunshot fired on that boat, and Robert Hammond fell into the lake. The distance of the shooting was 1 meter. It couldn't have been a suicide. Well, the guilty party has to be the other man on the boat. I admit it's hard to imagine any other possibility. This assumes the victim was shot at 15 minutes after midnight. What do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? We have photographic evidence of the time of the shooting. The timestamp of the photograph says 15. But Larry heard a gunshot 25 minutes before that. Robert Hammond was killed then, 25 minutes before the shot on the lake. That's the only way Edgeworth could be innocent. Mr. Wright, are you quite mad? Explain who the 2 men on the boat are. The murderer and Hammond. It's the murderer and Robert Hammond. What are you saying? That contradicts what you just told the court. You said that Robert Hammond had been killed 25 minutes before this gunshot. Yes, that's right. Uh-oh. Let's take another stab at it, then. Edgeworth and the murderer, then? After the murderer killed Robert Hammond at 11:50, he assumed the guise of Mr. Hammond and met Edgeworth. What? Are you serious? Yes. Edgeworth won't tell us why he went to the lake that night. However, I have a hunch. That night, Robert Hammond called Edgeworth to the lake. Now Edgeworth didn't know Robert Hammond's face that well. That's why he didn't suspect anything when the murderer took Robert Hammond's place. Not sure what to make of all of this. Ludicrous. Mr. Wright, tell us the name of the murderer, then. The murderer's name, right? It's... I don't know. Actually, I don't know the murderer's name. You don't know. Again, you waste my time. I don't know because you never told us. The murderer is the caretaker of that boat shop, the old man. At 11:50, he was the one who killed Robert Hammond. The caretaker of the boat shop? Where did he do this? There weren't any boats on the lake then. Why would he have to go all the way out on the lake just to shoot someone? May I suggest that the real scene of the crime was not on a boat? Well then, where'd the murder take place? Show the judge where the murder really took place. Here. Here, of course, the boat shop where he lives. That way he can meet with the victim without anyone seeing. Do you have proof the boat shop was the scene of the crime? Recall Larry's testimony, if you will. That night he was out on the lake in a boat, searching for something. He finds it and returns to the boat. Then, just as he starts to head home, he hears a gunshot. He heard a gunshot, Your Honor, even though he was wearing headphones at the time. In other words, a gunshot was very close by. Where would that be if he had just returned to boat? The boat shop. Mr. Wright, what happened that night on Gourd Lake? Please tell the court from the beginning. Yes, Your Honor. Are you sure about this? Not really, but I think if I start at the very beginning, and I take it slow, I might just be able to figure this out. That night, the caretaker of the boat shop called Robert Hammond to his shop. Bang. This was around 11:50. This was when the gunshot that Larry heard was fired. After that, the caretaker put on Robert Hammond's coat. He became Robert Hammond. Then he got in the boat with Edgeworth and went out into the middle of the lake. Then who fired the pistol on the boat, Mr. Wright? Of course it was the murderer who shot the pistol. He shot twice, but missed Edgeworth on purpose. Wait a minute. Yes? Why would he shoot twice if he didn't mean to hit anyone? Details. Know this, Mr. Wright. The moment you run out of explanation is the moment you lose. Tell us why the murderer had to fire twice. Create a witness. I believe he shot twice to create a witness, Your Honor. The murderer lifts his pistol and fires one shot. That ensures anyone who heard the shot would look at the lake. Indeed, Miss Hart did exactly that after hearing the first gunshot. Next, the murderer waits a bit and he fires again. Then, the murderer jumps from the boat himself, leaving the pistol in the boat behind him. I see. Someone looking from the edge of the lake. It would appear that one of the men on the boat had shot the other. Murderer didn't know about the automatic camera, of course. Shouldn't there be a third picture, then? That's why he shot twice to draw attention to the boat. Once you realize that, everything else falls into place. Boat shop caretaker swam back to his shop, then he put on Mr. Hammond's wet coat back on the body, and threw the body into the lake. This is what happened, Your Honor. These are the events that transpired that night on Gourd Lake. Not guilty. Bailiff, bring out the witness from before. The boat shop caretaker, quickly. How long have we been going? I'm too blind, 1 minute. Not that long yet. Very well. While we are waiting for the caretaker, I'd like to ask the defendant Miles Edgeworth a few questions. Edgeworth, please take the stand. Don't incriminate yourself, Edgeworth. Has that Mega Hive been there the entire time? Well, it's gonna be. I'm gonna take it away now, but like... YOLO. Mr. Edgeworth, you heard what the defense has said. Yes. Well, why'd you go to the lake that night? What Wright has said was mostly correct. Astonishingly so, actually. Yes, several days ago I received a letter. The letter was signed Robert Hammond. He asked me to come to the boat shop by the lake at midnight on Christmas Eve. He said he had something very important to discuss with me. Something important. I'm sorry, I can't say what it was. Your Honor, sir. Bailiff, we are conducting a trial here. I ask that you remain quiet. The witness has disappeared. He isn't at the boat shop either. What? What should I do? Find him quickly. We cannot allow him to get away. What's this crazy crap? Von Karma, your witness has disappeared. Search warrant has already been issued. Goes without saying I cannot declare a verdict under these circumstances. I'll extend the trial until tomorrow, the final day allowed. I request that the police department utilizes all its fortness to find that witness. Am I understood? One more thing. Just who is that boat shop caretaker? I think his identity has become very important to this trial. I want him, and I want to know who he is. Very well. Court is adjourned. Oh, well, the court's adjourned. Anyway. It's 27th. Yay, Nick, you did it. Yeah, well, at least we got out from under the guilty verdict. What about Larry? That was something else. Even Von Karma didn't know what to do with his testimony. Larry really helped us out. Sure, once I sifted through his unique testimony. Still, he did save us. I just wish our cases weren't so down to the wire all the time. I know what you mean. Sometimes I feel like it's on us. It's us on trial instead of the clients. Hey, Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Did you say something? Don't look so pained. I mean, it looks like you're probably going to get off the hook. You could try to smile just a little. Really. I'm sorry, but I fear it's not over for me yet. What do you mean? Right. There's something that's been troubling me for a long time now, and I don't know whether or not to tell you. No, there's so little time left. I want to tell you to get it off my chest, but I can't make up my mind. What is this about, Edgeworth? It's a nightmare I've had. A memory of a crime that I committed. A crime you committed? A memory of a murder. Well then, there's a bit of a cliffhanger for you. So let's save the game. Save the progress. Up to this point. Alright, there we go. That is today's episode of Phoenix Wright. So I'm going to upload this to the YouTubes. Hopefully it plays the whole video. Like, hopefully you'll hear this part and we're not, like, perpetually stuck. I'm not sure what that's been about, but hopefully it doesn't happen today. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to relax. So I want to thank you all again so very much for joining for this episode of Phoenix Wright. I don't know how many more episodes this case will be. Maybe just 2. Maybe we'll be done it this week. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, don't forget the light, and I'll see you next time.